the target for him. Everforce, stun card, Reckless rooted, pillar of filth, Realm Warp coming out, Reckless with oh, he apprehends him out of the flipping Realm Warp! And it works for FNATIC. Adam once again with the clutch moment for his team.
Hello, my name is Adam. I'm 19 years old and I play for FNATIC in the top lane since like 4 months now. And I'm a Darius main. When I started to play League, like that was the time where like you couldn't tag top, jungle, mid. The first pick would choose his role basically. Everyone was like choosing their role, and every time I was playing top, I didn't have a single main. I saw some Darius video, and this guy really, I mean, I liked his gameplay a lot, and then I started to play him almost every game. He was the first champion, and I started really to play like every game. When you pick like some champs like Darius, which are really not meta, usually you don't prepare such champ because they're already in your champion pool, and you have to be ready to play them anytime in any circumstances. At least this is the feeling I had, because I like play this champ for like more than 6 years now, so I know a lot of things about him and how he works in matchups. Darius is known to have a really good matchup against Camille. Usually a really good Darius can really abuse a really good Camille, and I think that's what happened. I also picked Darius because they had a lot of tanks, and I don't think that they had a lot of mobility, because they had champ that wants to go in, and my Darius champ is like a champ that don't wants to go in, but like he prefers to peel, and that's why Darius was good, because Darius was good usually against enemy composition that wants either to go in or really tanky, because Darius is a tank smasher, and this is what the character is made for, to kill people that wants to go in or that are really tanky. I want to pick him when I think enemy team doesn't have that much kiting, because like Darius' biggest weakness is like the kiting, where a lot of people have mobility and some CC and stuff, and you don't really want to deal with as Darius. At least this is the comp that I like to pick. He has a lot of really good matchups against melees. He can have bad matchups depending on the player. Like basically there's a lot of we can call skill matchup. For instance, Riven, Fiora, Renekton and stuff, which can be either hard or either a stomp for him. And it like depends on the knowledge you have on the champion and the knowledge of the enemy guy too. So it's like depends. That's why we call that a skill matchup. And usually he doesn't like to like a ranged matchup, like against Ken and Jace, against some Karma and stuff. Like Darius is really weak. Even though he can go ghost and try to kill the guy with all-in, it stays a bit hard because you need to understand the champion really well. Well, let's say there's one trick and you can only play this guy, and the enemy team starts to pick like some Jace, some Kennen, some Syndra, some Xayah and stuff, like a lot of mobility. You will anyway, when you play Darius, you have to go ghost. At least in solo queue, you have to go ghost anyways. But even though with ghost, there might not be enough to catch them, so you might always go stride breaker when you definitely need mobility. Even though you don't have the dash, but like the mythic bonus that gives you movement speed is like really huge for him against some comps with a lot of mobility. That's why sometimes you should go stride breaker. And I think that most of the time where you can see that they don't have that much kiting and mobility, and that you see that you will be clearing the melee during team fights, I think you should maybe go core drinker. It will give you a lot of tankiness and a lot of sustain, especially if you find yourself to be next to 5 people. So the runes are really basic. You will just take them every time. You just go first of all Precision 3, and you go Conqueror, Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand. And depending on how confident you are, you can either go Sorcery in second 3, you can go Nimbus Cloak or Celerity, or you can either go Resolve and you can take Second Wind or Bone Plating, depending if like the matchup top is very volatile. Well, Darius is one of the strongest champ level 1, so of course he's not that powerful against range because he cannot really attack them. Unless like you can maybe cheese some ranged, because ranged, imagine like you play against a Jace and Jace will just walk in the lane, and if you wait maybe in the bush, you can maybe look to all in this guy level 1, because they're super weak level 1. That's an alternative you can do, but as I said, Darius is one of the most powerful level 1 champ, so you really shouldn't hesitate on abusing your power level 1, like try to all in the guy level 1. For instance, you play, I don't know, you're playing against a Renekton, he uses Q on the creeps, you just start to all in this guy because he has nothing, and you can just kill this guy without him being able to do anything. Against Darius, like, at least this is how I was training my champ. I was trying to all in the guy level 1 perma, and I was testing my damage. Well, usually Darius has like one engage, which is the flash E or the E basically. But like Darius cannot be an engage without his flash, I think. But Darius usually doesn't want to engage unless like you really have to, because your team doesn't have any engage. But anyway, like you don't want to go in straight. You want to stay with your team. So in the backline, you want to keep healing for your ADC. For instance, if there's like an assassin that wants to kill your ADC, I think you have to stay around your ADC, especially like if they have a lot of tanks too that can really absorb the damage from your DPS. Usually you want to focus the tanks, you just put 5 stacks on them, and then you can either look to kill the tanks, or when you have the 5 stacks, it's at this moment that you can look to go on their carries, because when you have 5 stacks, you'll actually one-shot their carries anyways. So it's either you can really peel the whole fight so your ADC doesn't die by killing tanks, or when you get the 5 stacks on tanks, you can go straight on the carries.
Thanks for watching. For more gaming-related content, subscribe to the Esports YouTube channel to stay up to date.